The 63rd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Willie Gay, linebacker, Mississippi State.
Hey everybody, and welcome into another draft edition of The Breakdown. I'm your host, Matt McMullen, and in this episode, we're breaking down the second night of the 2020 NFL Draft. We talked all about running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire in last night's episode, which you can find on the Chiefs YouTube page, and tonight we're breaking down second-round pick Willie Gay Jr. and third-round pick Lucas Niang. But first, this episode is brought to you by Kansas City Southern, the cross-border railroad for the long haul. Sustainable, efficient, essential. And speaking of essential, you can never have too many linebackers or offensive tackles, and the Chiefs bolstered their depth at both positions on Friday night. Let's start with Gay Jr., a linebacker out of Mississippi State who racked up 48 tackles, 5 sacks, and 2 interceptions 2 years ago in 2018. He ranked 5th among all SEC linebackers in pressures with 17 and missed just 5 tackles across 455 snaps. He also allowed an opponent passer rating of just 25.8 when targeted. Gay Jr. missed 8 games this past season due to a violation of team rules, but he still managed to record 28 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, a pick, and a forced fumble across 5 games of action, demonstrating an ability that clearly caught the eye of Chiefs decision-makers. Here's what head coach Andy Reid had to say about Gay Jr., who linebacker coaches Matt House and Britt Reed were apparently pretty excited about.
Well, I'll tell you, again, you watch a tape on him, and he's one of those guys you go, who is that guy? I mean, he's making plays all over the place. So the linebacker coach I know loved him. Britt was part of that too, and he was kind of there. He and Britt and House kind of had him as the guy. That was their guy. They loved what they saw, and Brett, obviously brings those stacks to the guys, the different players, and they said, man, this kid here just plays. Wow.
The guy makes plays indeed. In 7 of his last 9 college games, which spans back to the 2018 season, Gay Jr. helped create a takeaway with either an interception, a forced fumble, or a fumble recovery. He even found the end zone too, scoring a touchdown on a 52-yard interception return last season. That playmaking ability is a product of his relentless passion for playing football, which is something he discussed on Friday night.
Man, I started playing the game when I was 6, man, and I was like always the fastest guy on the field, man. But when I got to high school, man, just to be able to compete with guys that were some way, just as good as me, it made me fall in love with competing, and when I can hit a guy, he gets up, he hits me, I get up, just the love for the game, the rough part of the game is what I love, man, and the brotherhood, and it makes you a better man outside of football, it teaches you life lessons that you never thought football could teach you, and that's really something that helps me a lot.
You heard there that Gay Jr. was always the fastest guy on the field when he was 6 years old, and actually that's still kind of true. He ran a 4.46 40-yard dash at the Combine, which was the second fastest time among linebackers behind only Isaiah Simmons, who went 8th overall in the draft. He also recorded the best broad jump and the second best vertical jump of any linebacker, doing so at 6'1" and 243 pounds. The guy is an athletic freak. I briefly mentioned this earlier too, but his coverage skills deserve further recognition. He actually earned the highest career coverage grade of any player regardless of position in the draft, according to Pro Football Focus. And, just in case you don't believe the analytics, Tyrann Mathieu tweeted that he was one of the very best coverage linebackers in this draft. The guy has all the makings of an impact player, and he's ready to get started. Here's what he knows about the Chiefs defense and how he fits in.
Well, I know for a fact, they, play a lot of man. They do a lot of everything, and I feel like more speed with Tyrann on the defense, man, and a great defense all around, around him and Chris Jones, man, and those great linebackers. I feel like that's perfect for me. I can get better from those guys, man, learn a lot. They can teach me a lot. I take in every little – I'm just a sponge out there, man. Take in every piece of detail, whether it's something in practice, something in the game, something with film room study, and I feel like I'm in a great position, man, and the defense is awesome, so I'm ready.
Just take a minute to watch some of Gay Jr.'s highlights, and you'll get excited about what this kid can do. Following the third round, Brett Veatch even mentioned that Gay Jr. could have been a first-round pick next year if he hadn't left school early. So this has all the makings of a potentially great value pick there in the second round. It's worth mentioning, too, that both Veatch and Reed said they did their homework on Gay Jr., and they felt comfortable bringing him on board despite that suspension last year. Now moving forward, and speaking of value, that seemed to be the idea behind picking Niang, a massive offensive lineman who checks in at 6'6" and 315 pounds. Niang was a 3-year starter at TCU and remarkably never allowed a sack in nearly 1,000 pass blocking situations, a feat he accomplished against several notable pass rushers, including Ohio State's Nick Bosa and Chase Young. A hip injury ended Niang's season early in 2019, which may have caused him to drop on some draft boards, but the Chiefs saw a guy with major potential who could make an impact at various spots up front. Here's what Veatch had to say about Niang and what the Chiefs envision for him.
In the third round, there sometimes the draft goes in different directions, and we've had some success with finding some value guys in the third round. And you sit there and you look at Lucas Niang. He's a guy that just 2 years ago he was asked to block both Bosa and Chase Young. Did a pretty good job. Guy that can play some guard too. So we think he can come in right away, and the kid is smart and challenge at guard, and then potentially work and develop at both right and left tackle. So two guys that we think have tremendous upside and are both extremely versatile.
Niang seemed pretty thrilled to end up in Kansas City too. He basically said this is where he wanted to be in his post-draft media call.
Throughout the whole process, I liked them a lot, and I felt like it was mutual. And I've just been waiting, honestly, for the last 2 days for them to call me. I thought that was where I was going to end up. The call was crazy. It was everything I've ever dreamed of, everything I've been waiting for my whole life. The anticipation was wild, thinking I was going to end up there and not knowing. And then I got the call a little bit before it even went on TV that they had to pick. It was crazy. It was everything I've been waiting for.
Hearing that kind of thing really never gets old. The draft is fun because we get to see who our favorite teams add to their rosters, but it's also about a whole bunch of lives changing for the better, and it's hard not to smile hearing the joy in both Gay Jr. and Niang's voices. All right, to wrap things up, I told BJ Kissel on our pre-draft YouTube show that one thing was certain amidst all the uncertainty of the draft, and that was that the Chiefs would be a better team following Friday night's action. Now, with 2 more picks in the books, I think that's absolutely true. I'm really excited about the class Brett Veatch is putting together this year, and it continues on Saturday with rounds 4 through 7. BJ Kissel and I will be breaking it all down on the Chiefs YouTube page beginning at 10:55 Central Time. It should be a lot of fun as we wrap up the 2020 NFL Draft. That's all I have tonight, everybody. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow for Day 3.